Heidi-ho, it's Wootini from GayGamer.net here with another one of my video podcasts. This week I have been playing some more Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS, which I am still very much enjoying, especially once I figured out that there was an option to invert the Y-axis for the swimming controls, because that was driving me up the wall, or should it be down the wall? Whichever. I was swimming like I was drowning. It was embarrassing. I feel like I'm like really close to the end though, and I'm still annoyed at the storytelling, constantly cutting back and forth to other characters. It's just killing the mood. But the game is still really good. I feel like I'm really close to the end, so it's, you know, not the longest game, but there's a whole raid mode that I haven't done yet, because that's kind of like Mercenaries, you know, it's just pure combat. So that's not really my thing. I prefer the story. But you can always replay the story, because you'll get extra weapons and stuff. I don't know, this might be the first Resident Evil I'll go back and replay and try to get a better score or something. I've also been playing my Disneyland Adventures, trying to get some more stuff in that. And I finally got back into Skyrim again. I took a week or so off of Skyrim, because I was starting a mission where I was going to have to go and kill a dragon to prove that I was Dragonborn and whatever. And knowing that that was coming, I was like, because there's been a couple of dragons, but they've just sort of attacked randomly, and there's been other people to help me, so I've been like, oh, okay. And I kind of let them do the heavy lifting. But, knowing that that was what was coming, I was like, I'll play Disneyland or something. And, finally I was like, oh, you know what? The thing is, I don't have to do this mission. I could just go off and do other things, and she said she'd meet me there. And I'm like, I could just go off and do whatever, and then like a month later go find her, and she'll not even react to the fact that it's been forever, because that's just how these games work. But then I realized, I'm like, I don't really know where I'm going, so it'd probably be better to go with her, and I'll just follow her, and she can lead me right there. So I finally just caved, and I did it, and the dragon wasn't even that hard to kill. I was very proud of myself. And I was even so bold that I went and took on a dragon myself. Because the guy up at the place where they teach you the voice, I can't remember everybody's names, and they're all weird names. I can't remember. He was like, oh, here, let me mark on your map. There's a new word, there's a word here. You could go learn that one. So I went there, and there was a dragon, and I killed it all by myself, and I was very proud of myself. So then I walk over to the shrine to learn the word, and this frickin' thing jumps up out of it's like called Necron or something, I don't know. He jumps up out of the thing, I'm trying to kill him, he's kicking my ass, and I died like almost instantly without doing barely any damage to him, and I was like, what the hell is that? And I was like, damn it, now I have to go and frickin' kill the dragon again. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it, I'll kill the dragon, then I'll save my game. But the problem is, you know, before I attack him, but then the problem was that I actually killed the dragon, but while I was killing the dragon, I inadvertently moved too close to the shrine and released him anyway. So he was already out by the time I killed the dragon. So I was like, crap. So I decided, let me just run away. Better part about it. So I run away, and amusingly, I was hiding behind a tree, and I thought, let me see if I could pick him off with a bow and arrow. And for whatever reason, and this is why I love these games, because sometimes they have glitches that save your ass. He was standing on the edge of the rock above me, and I'm standing behind a tree, and I must have been like just out of his perimeter where he would attack, because he was just standing there. But he wasn't attacking me. And I just picked him off. I mean, I must have used like 75, 80 arrows, but I eventually did kill him. So I was extremely proud of myself for finding a glitch in the game that allowed me to kind of sneakily kill this really difficult enemy. So yeah, so I was proud of myself. Which is good, because I had just been trying to do this other mission where this guy's like, oh, could you get my shield from this bandit cave? And I'm like, bandits, they're easy. And I go there, and the bandits are easy. Until the bandit leader. And then I'm like, crap. And he has this massive, like, dwarven shield or something, and I just can't do enough damage on him to make it worth my while, and he keeps kicking my ass, and I'm just like, ugh, forget it, I'll come back later. So it's fine. So I'll leave it, and I'll come back later. Because that's the thing about these games, is that you can choose what you want to play and what missions you want to undertake. So I have the mission from the little kid who wants me to kill the leader at the orphanage, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I gotta go check it out and see if she's worth killing, or, you know, is she that bad, or is the kid crazy, or whatever. So, but that's like all the way off in Timbuktu, it seems, and I don't know where it is, so I'm like, I'll deal with that way later. But once again, with Skyrim, with an Elder Scrolls game, you take a break, you're fine, you start to play just a little bit, and then you can't get enough of it. And I get sucked right back into it again, and I can't stop playing. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about this week. The Vita came out, and I am not getting one. Yet. Because I'm very impressed with the launch library. I mean, they have a bunch of games, lots of games, like more games than I've seen in a launch library ever, I think. Plus, you can play PSP games that you can download and stuff. So it's sort of like the DS, where the 3DS is like, oh, you can play our 3DS games, and you're like, well, there's only 6 of them. And it's like, well, but you can play all these other DS games. And it's like, well, fair enough, I guess. But, you know, whatever. The thing with the Vita right now is that none of these launch games are games that I'm like, ooh, I gotta have that, and I want to spend $300 to buy a Vita in this game and, you know, play it. I mean, there's games that if I bought a Vita, I don't think I would regret my purchase. I didn't regret, really, my PSP purchase. I just used it for a lot of watching videos. But now I have an iPod Touch, so I wouldn't use my Vita to watch videos on. I would just use it to play games. So I kind of feel like I need to now wait until there's games that I really, really want. Because with the PSP, I was getting it for the video player, more so than, and the games were like a bonus. Alright, maybe equally. But here, I'm just like, and, I mean, if I had a Vita, there are games that I would play. Like, I would totally be playing Katamari. I'd probably be playing Luminous, even though I hear it's the same as the first one, and in fact, they took away some of the modes from the first one, so I'm not really sure how that makes it better. That's kind of the reverse of what you're supposed to do with a sequel. And I'd probably play Uncharted, but because I've never played an Uncharted game, I know. I'm not like, ooh, I gotta buy this so I can play Uncharted. But I'm sure that eventually there will come a game that will make me say, yes, now I will buy a Vita, and I will play the hell out of this game. And then I will buy these other games. Like, I'll buy Uncharted, but by that point it'll be like $20 and it'll be awesome. I don't know what that game's going to be yet, though. I was looking at some upcoming Vita titles, and there's a Silent Hill game coming out, which normally would totally make me go, yes, ooh. But it's not a real Silent Hill game. It's not a single player. It's kind of focused on, like, co-op multiplayer, and I'm like, I don't really know how I feel about that. Because Silent Hill is supposed to be scary, you alone against the monsters, and I don't know how I feel about co-op, especially since I don't think I know anyone else who's getting a Vita, and unless you can play online with people, I'm not really going to get a lot of co-op play out of this. Not real co-op, anyway. But I will be getting a Vita at some point, I'm just not sure when. Because I do buy every single console, handheld, console, everything. I own everything. So it's just a matter of when that game comes out that I jump on it. And that game will eventually come out, and I will get a Vita. Because it's a hell of a piece of hardware. And I really appreciate the 2 analog sticks. That's going to make it a lot more fun to play first-person shooters, and Katamari. The touchscreen could get gimmicky, but hopefully people will figure out how to work it. The touchpad on the back, I really don't think that's going to become much more than a gimmick, so... But again, this is what Sony does. They throw in, like, everything, and then the developers have to go, well, okay, I'll use this, but not that, and I'll use this, and we can use this in a really creative way. And then you get a good game. It'll just take a little while for those good games to come out. Because I played Uncharted at E3, and it looked gorgeous, played really well, but occasionally it would be like, touch the screen here, and I'm like, why? That's so unintuitive, you know? But they'll work that out. And if you have any recommendations, that would be swell. In fact, if you have any recommendations, I'm looking for an RPG. I know a couple of RPGs came out for the 3DS recently, but I don't know if I really want to play those. I'm looking for a real traditional turn-based one, and I find that a lot of the RPGs nowadays are active battle systems, and I prefer turn-based, but that's just me. But I could go for like a really solid, like, long RPG right now, on my handheld, on my 3DS. And see, if they had one of those for the Vita, that might make me go out and buy a Vita. But there's not. Yet. So, until then, I will say goodbye now. See you next week.